Well, it's that season again. Medicare annual enrollment will be starting soon, and joining us to help navigate what can be a confusing task is Lori Miller, a local independent insurance agent who knows the ins and outs of this ever-evolving process. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much.
God bless you for the work that you do. I mean, it comes around every year, and it seems like every year it gets more and more complicated.
It does, and that is very frustrating for folks. And so yes, the Medicare, people tend to call it open enrollment. Technically, it's the annual enrollment period or annual election period, and that begins October 15th. It ends December 7th.
And that's the thing, you turn on the TV, it is one commercial after the other, advertising all these different plans. You get the mailers, you get the emails, and then sometimes you get unsolicited phone calls, but you say that you have to beware of those.
Yes, so the vast majority of those phone calls that people receive are in violation of Medicare rules. So if you did not request the contact in some way, by maybe you got a little form in the mail that you filled out and you sent in, and there was a little tiny disclaimer that said an agent will contact you. Or maybe you clicked on a link and went to a website, and somewhere in that process you invited that phone call. But if those things did not happen and you did not grant permission to contact, then those phone calls are in violation of CMS, which is the governing body of Medicare, of their rules.
And they never should solicit information from you over the phone if you don't know who's actually calling you. So be very careful not to hand over your Social Security number or any other personal identifiable information. So for some reason, people feel, I guess, less threatened by giving their Medicare number. But they should not. They should not give their Medicare number unless it's to a medical provider for insurance purposes, or to their chosen agent or whoever is actually assisting them, and they have engaged in a relationship with that person. Of course, then yes, in order to assist you, I'm going to need your Medicare number. But to give it over the phone blindly like that, typically what it does is it gives the caller access to see what plan you already have. Oh, wow.
And
they can actually do that.
Then they're going to offer you something other than what you have.
I see.
Because that caller's whole goal is to enroll you in different insurance. If they don't change your insurance and enroll you in a plan, they are not going to earn a commission. They are not just calling out of the goodness of their heart to give you unsolicited advice.
No one does anything out of the goodness of their heart anymore these days. We only have a couple of minutes left. I want to make sure that people know, to qualify for Medicare, what are sort of the basis standards that you need to meet in order to qualify?
So in most cases that you're eligible the month of your 65th birthday. If you have paid into Social Security and Medicare for at least 10 years over your work career, or you may qualify under a spouse. Some people qualify prior to age 65 if they have filed for disability and been approved for disability. And typically then, if you're on disability for 2 years, 24 months, you're eligible for Medicare. Sometimes it can happen quicker than that with disability if you've had a disability case pending a long time and then it finally comes through. Or certain disabilities like end-stage renal disease, which is kidney failure, Lou Gehrig's disease, which is ALS. There are certain conditions where Medicare is granted right away.
Oh, I see. Okay. And you always hear about this plan, that plan, kind of an a la carte in addition to, I guess, sort of the basic Medicare coverage, correct?
Right. So Medicare A and B would be considered original Medicare. That's your foundation of Medicare. And what I sometimes refer to as naked Medicare, because if that's all you have with no other insurance, you are subject to quite a bit of exposure to out-of-pocket expense. So there are two types of coverage with Medicare, and that would be a Medicare supplement, which some people call a Medigap plan, and that is designed to pair with original Medicare to pay your portion of the out-of-pocket. And then there are Medicare Advantage plans, which we call Part C of Medicare. And those are really the ones you see the most commercials about, although both types of coverage are advertised. And Medicare Advantage plans have to be offered in both your state and county of primary residence. So you can't just pick a plan that maybe your sister in North Carolina has.
So it does differ state by state.
State by state and county by county.
County by county, my goodness. All right, well, this is why we need you,
Lori.
This is
why it's so confusing.
And yes, but we need someone like you to help shepherd us through that process. Well, fantastic. Well, we're going to put up your contact information and let people know how they can reach you and try to get the best plan for their needs, which I'm sure no two are the same.
That's correct. No two are the same. And something really important before we run out of time is there are several Advantage plans in the Low Country that are ending at the end of the year. And so people should definitely be opening the mail from their insurance plan. Read it carefully, because if your plan is ending and somehow you miss that notification, you could wind up in January saying, how did I end up with original Medicare and nothing else? What happened to my other insurance?
Okay, very
So
good
very,
advice.
very important to know if your plan is ending. And if it's not ending, you'll also get a notice called an annual notice of change that tells you how your plan is changing for the coming year.
I see.
And those changes are significant from year to year.
Absolutely. And again, contact Lori. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back after this.